Hello and welcome back to the Son of the Morning Comics channel. Today what we're going to be looking at is the first chapter of Frank Miller's Ronin. We're not gonna be reviewing the whole book today. It's a big one. So this was released in 1983, 1984, I believe, over that 2-year time period. And this is coming after his run on Daredevil and before his Dark Knight Returns, which everybody loves so much. And so this was his first work that he actually created from scratch, created the characters, did the writing, the drawing, all that stuff. This is his first creator-owned project. So very interesting book. Now, I will say that I'm not the biggest fan of Frank Miller's art, but I do really like his storytelling. So, let's get into it then. Alright, so in chapter 1, we start in Japan, and we have a master and his apprentice. So we have Lord Ozaki here, and we've got his apprentice, who is concerned that they're too far away from the castle, and that's dangerous because he has a lot of enemies that want to kill him. But clearly, Ozaki wanted to show his guard here something. So we see these 3 statues here, and then one says that words of honor and duty should be the last from a good little samurai before he dies. And the statue speaks. He says, "I'm glad you hear it too. It means I'm not going senile." But it is not Holy Buddha who addresses us, nor the dead buried here. So who is it that's talking to them? We don't know, because they're about to get attacked. So they get attacked. They do manage to fight them off. There is a part here where the young guy throws his sword away. Oh, he said, "Oh, you threw your sword away." "Yes, my lord. Luckily, you still have yours." So, I mean, you can see there that already there's a little bit of an issue with the guard. He's not doing things great, but he knows that the people that are coming after him are especially this person, Agat, the demon, the shape changer. And what Agat is after is really the blood sword, which is what he holds here. And it's not there. You can see the blood sword absorbs blood when it kills somebody. So now it's the only sword that can kill this Agat. The thing about it is that the sword has to be, before you can kill him, you have to kill you have to get the blood of an innocent person on the blood sword before it will be strong enough to kill Agat. So that is a very interesting plot point. Once back at the fortress, they have this green lady who has been, hanging about, and the boy is a little bit enthralled by her, but it looks like so is Master Ozaki. So Master Ozaki decides here that he's gonna take her back to his room. And his young guard is very confused. He said, "I must not leave my lord unattended." But, they're like, "He's fine. He'll be fine just on his own." But he doesn't want to relinquish his post, so you can see him sitting there waiting, and he's just waiting just in case, and then he hears his master scream out, in pain, and he opens the door to find this Goro-looking fellow. Looks like Goro from Mortal Kombat. Of course, this precedes Goro from Mortal Kombat. And this is Agat that looks like Goro. And so he does kill Master Ozaki, and he wants to, find the sword, but the sword's not there. He wants him to tell him where the sword is. He's not telling him where the sword is. So then the others from there rush in, and they see that he's there, and he says there's too much trouble, and we know that it was mentioned he's a shapeshifter. He turns into like an eagle or a hawk, and he flies away. And as he's going, he says, at least I killed Ozaki, poor fellow. He forgot that Agat controls the form of flesh. So yeah, he really used that against him there. Here we see, he says, you won't forget that, will you, boy? And he says, no, I won't forget. So, not a good situation for the young kid. So he basically has a couple of options. He could either, he could either kill himself or, become a Ronin, a wanderer, somebody without a home. So he is going to choose to become a Ronin. Now the story flips to the more contemporary side, as this is, not in years past anymore. And we're in a very technologically advanced little hub of New York City. And this is Billy. And Billy is a man, I guess he's just a torso, but he has all sorts of mind power, and he works together with the attendant of this thing, whose name is, why is the name, Virgo is his name. And so, New York, not looking so hot these days, as you can see. And this is the station in which Billy is inside. Very sort of, very grim look there. So, now, these are the people that are protecting this whole area. And so they're talking about how the fortress is impenetrable, and that this is their new security chief. And they're all aghast because it's a woman. But I think she'll do okay for herself. This place has all sorts of security in it. It's not, nothing is gonna get in there too easily. Here you get to see a little bit of what Billy can do. As they say here, friends, Billy Chalice, our most special employee. We see here Billy's magnified image, projected from his test womb, where he and Virgo work ceaselessly to perfect our most far-sighted venture. Billy shows what you can do. So you can see here he has all these arms, but this isn't real. This is just sort of like attachments that they can put onto this torso, and that he can do all these things. They think it's prosthetics. They're like, no, it's cybernetics. So one of the things that is also interesting about Billy is that he's having dreams of the Ronin. And it's not, not the most fun for him, because they're nightmares for him. But he's getting tired, and so, they tell him, Virgo tells him just to go to sleep. And when he does go to sleep, he has another dream about the Ronin. This time it's about a woman who is looking for shelter for her and her child. And she comes up to these men here asking for shelter. They're like, no shelter for women, but they say, we'll gladly keep you warm. So I think that's code for that they're about to rape her, but luckily the Ronin shows up just in time, and he, does his thing very, very quickly, and then tells the woman that to follow him into the woods and that he'll make a fire to keep them warm. And so here he's talking to this woman, and she basically says she was kicked out by her husband, kicked out with the child, that they've been wandering for months, and she wants to know about him, and he basically explains that it's been 15 years since Agat slew his master, and that, he has this sword that he needs to kill Agat with, and then he explains to her that it's like a blood sword, that it needs to get the blood of the innocent before he can kill Agat, and she gets very concerned because she's got her son there, and he says basically, don't worry about the kid, he's too young, and you are not far innocent enough. So I just thought that was kind of funny. And so now the Ronin is going for the final battle. He knows that it's time. But at the same time, I guess in his sleep, Billy is talking about what he's seeing. And Virgo is saying, like, whoa, how do you know this? You weren't programmed for this. What is going on here? And so like I said, he goes for the final battle. You can see by the skulls and skeletons how many people have tried to, get at him before. But our Ronin is going to be different, we hope. And he is first attacked by a giant mouse. And they have a fight, and he kills the mouse pretty easily. And then he's yelling at Agat to come down. He says, are you so puny in the bright light of day that you fear a single man? And he sees the sword, and so he knows he wants that sword. Really interesting dialogue going on here. He says, to the four winds I sent my little demon slaves. For 10 years and more they sought the blood sword, only to return bewildered in failure. But you sweet, sweet fellow, you brought it to my very home. Give it to me, stranger. Give the sword to Agat. I'll make you rich. But no, you want to kill me, don't you? Idiot. See me feel my power. See me, feel my power. You are but a scrap of flesh and a bone, a fleeting wisp of smoke, and I am fire, eternal and bright. I envelop you, consume you. The sword protects me, he responds. And then he says, you are poorly advised. My soul touches the sword, tastes it. I know it is not properly fed. So he knows that he hasn't taken the blood of an innocent, and so he knows that he can't kill him with the sword. Which is very cool, and just a very good bit of writing there by Frank Miller. And he says, the Ronin says, it will destroy you, Agat. All it requires is blood from a good man. And so I'm not sure if the Ronin views himself as being the innocent man or not, because what he does is he, stabs himself through the heart and also Agat through the heart. And he says, my lord Ozaki, I come to join you at last. But he's having none of it. Agat says, no, still there is time for one final curse. You join me, Ronin, forever. And here Billy is he's seen all of this in his dreams, and he's starting to feel like he doesn't know what's going on. He wants to know what it all means. Virgo doesn't know what it means. He's trying to figure it out. Billy's very scared by all of this. It's he asks him about this blood sword, and he searches the database for the blood sword, says that it was resurfaced a couple weeks ago. Then somebody tried to, a group of people tried to get near it, and it blew them up, and then the sword disappeared again. And so very interesting here, because Billy is starting to become aware of this stuff, where he says, it's true, Virgo, all of it. The Ronin and the demon, they're real and they're free, and they're just souls. And the Ronin, he wants my body. But why me? Is it because of the things I can do with my mind? Does that make me more receptive? So he's now there, he's very concerned, because he's trying to be what he is. He's this almost human piece of technology. And then they have an intruder alert, and look who it is. It's Agat. That's never good. And they're talking about the Virgo says the defenses will stop him. Of course, none of the defenses can stop him. That's not gonna do it. So we then have our chief of security, who, is on the lookout as well, but she gets her eyes taken out by Agat in bird form, and then he switches back to the main form that we see, and he says that, so I know that I will find my little Ronin inside this woman of glass. Okay. So, he's looking for him. He knows he's gonna find him somewhere. Now, things are starting to happen to Billy. He's starting to get a little bit strange. His, I guess they called it a womb. His womb is starting to act up. Just as Agat is getting to him, you can see here that, he's starting to change. He's growing a cybernetic hand and arm, and then skin's starting to close over it. So once in full sort of human form, Billy kind of takes off, and Agat's kind of like, where are you going? And he says, oh, well, I can follow you. And then, boom, the entire place explodes, which is never good, but we know it's not going to kill him, right? So that's going to be problematic. And you just gotta love Frank Miller's writing here. He says, Agat says, the glass woman died for you, Ronin, and you survived. I know you did. You escaped. Ha! Escaped to what? I have seen this New York. It's beautiful. Warlike, desperate, hopeless, evil to the root. Yes. Agat has found a new home. While you are but a simple man from a simple time, you cannot survive here. This world will assault you, torment you, and should it fail to kill you, there will be me, Ronin, ready and waiting. Frank Miller is such a good writer. And here, I guess it's like a cleanup crew or something like that. They're in the sewers. They're looking for a corpse, and one of the guys asks, what are we looking for? And he says, and what I hear is that one of the boys disappeared in the explosion, kid named Billy. All this work's left me worn out. And then, so then they've kind of given up on it. And then Billy emerges as the Ronin, and that is the end of chapter 1. So, really, really love this story. I'm happy that I'm sharing it with you on this channel here. Don't know when I'll do the chapter 2. It'll be soon, though. So if you like this kind of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave some comments. If you'd like to talk to me, you can hit me up at sonofthemorning7 on Twitter. So thank you once again for joining me here on the Son of the Morning Comics channel, and have yourself a wonderful day.